Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Arah, aka I Eat Zebra, and welcome back to the channel. I am joined today by two very, very special guests. Ladies, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi guys, my name is MJ from the YouTube channel Gray Area.
And my name is Mandy. I am one quarter of Direwolf City.
Yes, our other quarter is not able to join us tonight, but she is here in spirit. So if you guys aren't familiar, we also do a live stream on Sundays at 8:30 on Gray Areas channel for Direwolf City. We cover all things A Song of Ice and Fire, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, all that good stuff. And we also recently launched a new podcast, Preposterous AF. So if you're into like truly crazy stories, unsolved, unexplained, unanswered mysteries, true crime, all that jazz, you would love Preposterous AF. The first two episodes are available now on all platforms. So go check us out and, leave us a nice little review. 5 stars, preferably, because that's all you can do.
Like
Buttons one through four don't work.
if you guys don't even like true crime, but you just like us, I would appreciate it if you would just go give us a like. That's the only way other people can find us is if we get rated high enough. But I just had an idea. We should be called
Yes.
the Spice Girls for this stream.
We should be the Spice Girls, the Spice
You know what?
Girls,
I
the
was wondering
Melanges.
if that episode. Oh, the Melanges. Okay, so that episode of South Park was making fun of Dune.
Yes, it
It was
was.
like Spice Melange, because Jerry and I do that to each other all the time, but we never knew what it was from. I feel so fucking stupid right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, in this movie, they didn't really like get into like using the word melange as much.
I never heard the word melange. If I had, I would have known like what was going on.
Hold on.
Melange.
I like, hold on. Bryce's, Laureen's comment, the Spice Girls with an U. I like that. That's definitely our vibe.
Hey,
I just want to say
Bryces.
hi. Let's say hi to some other people in the
So
chat. I see
many
we got
familiar
Swagger
names.
Dagger here,
Hi,
Swagger
David
Spider.
J.
David.
Gerard Bray. Hey, ladies, glad I caught you. I was about to watch rewatch The Housewives again. Happy I get another day with you. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
I
thanks for
also
hanging out.
see we got OG Josh Gripe. Yes, Preposterous episode 2 is wild. And
Yes.
I apologize for any disturbing mental images you guys may have had while listening to it.
I know Arah scarred us for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I love you guys.
Don't know how we're gonna top that.
Also, just wanted to throw it out there. If you guys didn't know, I'm getting married on Saturday.
He is!
Ooh,
Yay!
yay! So 3 days. So yeah, if you want to
Dun,
leave me,
dun, dun,
a
dun,
nice
dun,
little
dun,
wedding
dun.
present, you can see my Venmo and Cash App on the ticker below. Appreciate you guys. But anyways, let's get into what we're here for, which is
Yes.
Dune. So, just to start off, overall thoughts.
Oh,
Confusion.
so I guess we should say Mandy's never read the books.
I've
This
not.
is Mandy was a virgin going into Dune, the
I love
movie.
when you call me that. Thank you.
Yes.
No, I went into it knowing absolutely. Okay, I won't say absolutely nothing because once I started watching it, I had like some repressed memories coming back of like hearing my brother talk about it when I was really little because my brother had like this huge box set of like 5 VHS tapes, I guess, that contained the old Dune movie.
Mm.
Because I guess it was like super long and they had to have like multiple VHS tapes that like
Like,
yeah. And I remember him having that box set and I remember him talking about it when I was a kid, but like only to the point where like certain names were slightly familiar. I was like, oh, I've heard that before. But yeah, none of the plot, I had no idea what was going on. I was super confused. I think the second time I watch it will be better.
It will like I personally fucking loved it. Like I loved it. I think it was What I really respected about it was that I really, 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 really respected them respecting the books. Like you don't that does not
Yes.
happen like that. It doesn't happen often. Like we know if you're a Game of Thrones fan, we know more better than anybody that that doesn't happen. And I just feel
My
like
heart.
Denis Villanueva, is that how you say his last name? Villanueva?
Villeneuve.
However you
It's
say his name,
French. I'm so bad with French. That's so bad.
he's got a
Villeneuve, I
he's
think.
got a big
Villeneuve.
dick. He's got a big dick. Like
His
confirmed.
BDE.
It,
So
it's a big dick.
for me, when I was about like 6-ish, my dad made me watch the 1984 David Lynch version of Dune. So I unfortunately got scarred by the way they portrayed Baron Harkonnen in that movie, because if you haven't seen it, it is like they give him like these boils and pusses all over his face, and I'm like 6. I don't know what's happening here. Like it was super freaky. I was like, what do you
I
have me
saw
watching,
I
Dad?
saw what he looked like in that version, and I was like, oh, thank God they kind of smoothed his shit out a little bit because dude was looking rough.
Girl, it was so bad. And I actually went back and rewatched the 1984 one before watching this again. And it's actually fun to rewatch it because it's like it's set in the 80s. So like obviously like the effects are like super dated,
Right.
but it's a fun campy watch. I liked it. It's pretty, it was, I don't know how to describe it besides campy. There's a pug. Gurney Halleck carries a pug for what reason? I do not know.
I remember
But
that.
there isn't a pug in this movie, and that's where they messed up. They needed the pug.
That
They didn't even know
that'll
it.
do it.
I loved
Yeah.
when they were coming in to do the royal decree thing,
Yeah.
and Leto was like, "Smile, Gurney," and he just is straight faced as fuck, and he's like, "I am
I
smiling."
am smiling.
Yes.
And can we
Wait,
talk about Zaddy for a minute?
hold
Well,
on.
I'll
So,
wait till you get to that.
no, I just want to get into this comment from Josh.
Josh.
Baron Harkonnen got a new skincare routine. Yes. Yes, he did, and he needs to drop it. We need to get all the tips on how he got rid of all these disgusting pus things, and made it nice and smooth and gross still, because he's still really weird. But actually, since you brought up Gurney, so who are like some of you guys' standouts for the movie? Like favorite character, I should say.
Leto, Duke Leto, Atreides, Daddy. Yes,
Okay,
Daddy.
I've given
Love it.
everyone nicknames, so you're gonna have to bear with me because I don't know
I
anybody.
want to guess who it is.
Okay, yes.
No, you got to give us the name, the nickname, and then
Yeah,
we'll
I want to
guess.
guess it.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, they're real obvious. Like the Duke was just Jared Leto, so I would like know who the fuck I was talking. So it's like a mnemonic device. So I could remember his name, like the Duke,
Yeah.
Jared Leto. Yeah, and then I had to remember Jessica's name by David Tennant screaming Jessica in my head from Jessica Jones. I actually she was one of my least favorite. I felt like
Really?
I know,
Jessica?
which is weird because everybody like loves Jessica, and I was just like, all she does is run down hallways crying. Like this bitch is on my last nerve. I'm like, could you do something? And at the very beginning, she's like, "Oh, you thirsty bitch? You want this water? Make me." And I was like, "Girl, your child is thirsty."
She's trying to train him, Mandy, in the
know,
ways
but
that
That's what-
Benny
damn.
Gesserit.
That's
But
what
I
makes
didn't
this
know
fun,
that at the
because
time. I was like, "Honey, your child is thirsty. Just give him the fucking water."
honestly, you're not even the first person to say that, because I went with one of my friends. She hadn't read the books or seen the other one. She had no idea.
I had
And she's
no idea.
like, what was that weird noise? I was like, that's called the voice. She's like, I don't like that. That's weird. I was like, oh girl, you're in fur
It was
trees.
super weird. It was super weird. But favorite character I really liked, I mean, obviously we love Jason Momoa, but the character of Duncan Idaho was really cool. Like the way he like really like stood up for what was going on, and like he went back to names. Okay, so the doctor for the Fremen.
Kinds, yes.
Sure, yeah. I really liked her too. She was a real standout for me. Like I was gutted at the end. I was like, ugh. But the way he went to her and he just like put her in her place, I really admired that he was so like adamant about what was happening. And I really liked the character of Duncan Idaho. He was super cool.
No. Side note, somebody described Jason Momoa. They're like, he plays like being like a really loyal dog, but somebody that will kill you
Right.
really well.
Yeah, that's perfect description. Yeah, he was super cool in that.
Yeah, I'd say I love Duncan. I would say Duncan is probably my standout choice because I didn't expect Jason Momoa to do as great of a job as he did, but
I didn't even know he was in it. He took his mask off, and I was like, "What?" I was so excited. I had no idea. I had no idea he was even in it. I was super, super excited. Everything was a surprise for me. I didn't know anything about it.
I'll tell you one thing that I didn't like, which there aren't many things I didn't like. I felt the shields could have been better.
Yeah, that was super weird.
Honestly, compared to the 1984 one, I'm not. It's so bad. They have them in these like weird, like geometric shape thing.
Yeah.
It's just awful. I wish I had it pulled up for you guys to see. It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, people in the chat were saying it was cheesy and campy.
It's super cheesy and campy. But we also have to remember it was in 1984, guys. Like they only had but so much technology back then.
Yeah, and I felt like in this one, like the training sequence where we're like first introduced to the shields was kind of cheesy. Like I know that they just had to like show off like how they worked and that the fact that they had the shield. So like I get that it was like performative, but it was a little. Just I know your footsteps. I was like, okay, bro.
One thing
I know
that I
footsteps
will
is like a
say.
thing, so.
One thing I will say that I feel like and again, guys, I don't want to seem like I'm trashing this movie because I love this movie a lot. It's so good. I feel like the more you watch it, the better it gets, if that makes sense. But one thing I didn't like is obviously it's kind of a hard line to walk when you have so much world building and you're trying not to like overly exposition dump on it.
Yeah.
But I feel like when it comes to Paul's training, they could have standed for a little bit more. Like for example, how you brought up like him being like, "Oh, I recognize your footsteps, old man," and that's like a combination of like obviously that Bene Gesserit training, but also he was trained by like Thufir Hawat to potentially be a Mentat. He's trained by Duncan Idaho and Gurney on how to like. He's been trained by the best of the best in literally every single thing possible.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane a little bit because I'm like, why is he this talented at everything he does?
Because he's Muad'Dib.
He is Muad'Dib. The Lisa Nadaib. No,
I don't know.
She's like, what is going on?
Like, yeah, the Moamas, yes.
I had got my book out. Like, I got into Dune about 2 to 3 years ago because Quinn was like, Gray, you gotta fucking read Dune, bitch. Like, you gotta read it. And I was like, okay. He was like, you're gonna love it. It's an experience. So I've started reading Dune, watched his videos, of course, and like shout out to Quinn. He has like the best Dune videos.
He's brilliant.
There are.
He's brilliant. He really knows his shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but he sounds like he knows what the fuck he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. And actually, Bryce, to answer your question, have you ladies seen the sci-fi version? I have not, but I will say the Children of Dune series is like on my next up list. The one that has oh my gosh, what James McAvoy. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just spaced on it. It's on my list. It's up there. I know you haven't seen it, Nim, but Gray, have you seen it?
I was unaware of its existence.
I haven't seen any of it. I didn't see the 1984 movie. I didn't see the sci-fi series. I didn't see anything. I just read the book. And I've only read Dune. Like I have Children of Dune and I have Dune Messiah, but I haven't read those yet.
Yeah, fun fact, I haven't read them yet either, but I know what happens because, as Grey Wolf
Spoilers.
said, Quinn got so many people into tuning me. I'm one of those people as well. Like,
And
I
see,
had seen,
I think I know some things that are gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I know a lot that's gonna happen, but I haven't read them.
Like,
yeah,
I'm not
same.
sure about it though. It's just like things I've heard, but I
Yo,
don't trust the sources.
there's so much
Yes.
good TV that's coming out that's based on books. Like I'm kind of overwhelmed at the moment with reading books because
Oh
I
yeah.
want to read The Wheel of Time, and that's like 40,000 books in that series. And
Seriously.
I'm rereading The Witcher right now. So
I still haven't
plus
read The Witcher.
plus Dune. Plus, I'm rereading A Song of Ice and Fire for Obsidian Nights. Plus, I read a lot of like self-help shit because I just do.
I've just been in wedding planning mode, so all books have been just pushed to the back burner right now for me. Unfortunately, I can't wait so I can read again because I love reading.
I'm rereading The Silmarillion for the new Lord of the Rings show.
I'd rather like
And that
I
takes
tried
like
to read
years to
that.
get through one.
I
book.
tried to read it and I can't. Like I'd
Yeah.
rather like pour bleach in my eyes.
I can't do it. I cannot get through the Silmarillion. I can't. I've
This is
tried
the
it.
third
It's
time I've
so
read
hard.
it. It's rough.
You made it through? I never made it through. Sorry
Twice
to
before,
shit on.
yeah. It's
I'm
rough.
sorry to shit on Tolkien right here, but I cannot get through the Silmarillion.
Jenna
Ooh.
S said Audible. Yes.
I tried Audible. It didn't work. But Wendy Nerd, hey, welcome. I miss you on Twitter. But the miniseries is on YouTube. Oh, okay. Say less. I know what I'm doing later. Because I've been trying to find it. I didn't know where to find it because I was like,
Now, is
do I have to
this
pay for like
something that
sci-fi?
I can watch that will like make things make more sense, or will it make me more confused?
It how do I put it? It gets really weird. If part 2 was out, I'd say yeah, you're good, but like
So I should wait.
there's
for part
certain characters, yeah. There's
Okay.
characters that
can do
are
that.
important in part 2 that aren't around yet, but we'll get
Part
there.
2's coming out next year, right? It's coming out like super fast.
20.
It's
Well, they said October. Did they say October 2022?
Yes.
I mean 2023. 2023.
Oh, I thought it was 2022. Oh, okay.
I think it's 2023. But like with this one, they kept pushing it back. So because
Because
this
this
one
is
was
just the
supposed to,
first half of the first book.
right.
Yep. Yeah, so they're saying it's what you would call it? It's October
this much.
2023.
Yeah, everybody's saying
this much of the book.
Jesus. Okay.
All right, so I just kind of like get into a little bit. So we're not gonna get too spoilery tonight, guys. We're just gonna try to remain as tread as lightly as possible, just in case anybody hasn't seen it yet.
I understood that
If you-
reference.
I was gonna say, personally, if you haven't seen it yet, I cannot recommend it enough, and I guarantee you've heard this time and time again. See it in IMAX. It is a completely breathtaking experience in an IMAX theater. Luckily for me, my closest theater is actually an IMAX, and it's 10 minutes away. So I'm a little spoiled on that one. But yeah, find an IMAX, go see it. You will not be disappointed.
I don't even know if I should see it in IMAX because I saw it on just HBO Max at home, and I was blown away. I was blown away. So what if I see it in IMAX and like I just combust in there?
You will.
Because it was so beautiful, like the shots of the sand, and like even the opening. That opening when Zendaya's talking and giving like exposition, and they show like them mining the spice fields, and they show the Fremen come out of the sand, like they're laying under the sand
so
and
cool.
come out of the sand.
So
Every time they came out of the sand, I was like, yes, that's so awesome. But no, like you said, the first shot of like the I guess it would be the spice, because they say the spice like lays on top. Just like that, like blowing over the ripples in the dunes was really pretty.
It was very pretty.
Very, very well done.
It was. Oh, got a super chat. Thank you, Jenna S. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. I'm very excited for you. Sorry if it's off topic. Just wanted to wish you many blessings. Thank you so much. And for me, it's always on topic because I got a countdown thing right next to me. So appreciate that. Thank you so much. Actually, speaking of that opening shot, what you just reminded me of is right before we like get into that, you have like the Sardaukar talking, or I'm assuming it's a Sardaukar, and that really like
Oh
sorry
yeah, that was
voice.
creepy as hell.
Yeah, I hope you guys like my Sardaukar
They made a
impression.
couple of appearances, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" 'Cause they were like saying something was
Yeah,
coming, something was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know what's coming, but it was creepy.
Some pretty
yeah.
fucked up shit.
So it's like the opening line says like dreams are messages from the deep, and I feel like that literally is a whole setup for what part one is about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we get all these like super cool like dream sequences, and
Mhm.
I like how they mix them in throughout the movie. Like I feel like
Me too.
it's hard to do a lot of like, because in the book it's a lot of inner monologues and inner vision, so like being able to capture that and bring it to life. I could Denis, man. I don't know what else to say besides,
Big dick.
bro, you knocked it out the park with this movie. It's so good.
Well, it
But
didn't feel like cheesy either, like the dream sequences. Like it didn't feel like it wasn't too much, it wasn't too often, and like it helped me know what the hell was going on.
I like that they included some
yeah.
throwaway dream. Like they could have technically just included like future events. They didn't have to include like possible future events. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we see like the clip of like where it looks like Chani killed Paul, which
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't happen. Or light spoiler, jumping ahead a little bit, or with like Jamis, like how Jamis always is like popping up and he seems like a leader and a friend to Paul, and
Yeah.
unfortunately,
That tent
stabby
scene.
stabby.
That tent scene was kind of. I really loved that tent scene.
When I say like for me that tent scene, you're talking about the tent scene when it's like him and Jessica and he's having like essentially like an overload, like a sensory overload with all the spice, and he's like seeing like his potential future.
Oh yeah, my dude snapped. He like started screaming at his mama. I was like, "Damn, bro,
You made me a freak."
I would have got backhanded." No,
Yes.
he was really shook. Like, which I mean is understandable. He's got like no idea what's happening to him, and it's like her lineage that's doing that, right?
Yes, actually that reminds me.
Shashas or whatever they are.
Now that you brought that up, okay,
Are they
I don't
like
want to spoil this. Yes, so there's a little other secret to Jessica, but I'm not going to say that yet because that's something in the later part of the book. And the 1984 version doesn't include it at all. Like when I talked about it with my dad after we saw it, he's like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot they didn't say that in that movie, and you're gonna probably find out in part 2." But the Reverend Mother, another person I feel like was amazingly casted, the woman who played Gaius Helen Mohayim. God, was she scary?
She was
That's the lady with the black
box?
veil. Yeah,
the one that did the ganja bar.
She was the therapist on Dexter, right? That lady.
Was she?
At the very end.
I don't watch Dexter. I never watched Dexter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the voice sounded super familiar, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds like the chick from Dexter, the lobotomy."
I love her.
That pain box, though, was
the ganja bar.
One of the most interesting and disturbing things. Because she's just like, "Here, I have something for you." He's like, "Sweet, a birthday present. What is it?" She's like, "It's pain. Just stick your hand inside. But if you take it out, I'm going to kill you." And he's like, "Yes." And he puts his hand in there. And I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing, bro?"
They're testing him.
It was wild. Like, call me a coward. I would not have put my hand in that box. I don't feel like it's cowardice. I feel like that would have been the smart thing to do. But he really knocked it out. So it was interesting. And she, I guess, like got the information she was looking for, I'm assuming, but she was like, he's not ready yet, or he's not like, what was going on there? Explain that part to me.
So essentially with the Bene Gesserit, it's a group of women, and they're trained to like only women. That's why she says like, "Oh, all of this hard work and potential wasted on a boy." Like
you were supposed to have only daughters, Jessica.
You even got a pussy. What the fuck?
She's like,
Yeah, they only
you.
wanted Jessica to have daughters. And
Yeah,
she can
so
control that. Like she can control what she
yeah,
has.
so they're able to control their bodies on a somewhat like molecular level. So like say like so like in Song of Ice and Fire when like Melisandre is given the poison and I think it's that Mesa Crescent gives her the poison and she's like nah, 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 like that. I don't know why I did that voice, but that is essentially what the Bene Gesserit can do is they can literally take that, use their like molecules to make it ineffective. They can manipulate the sex of their children. Their fighting style, it's called the weirding way, and it's like almost like they're teleporting. Like the movements, it's very rapid. They can do mind control, almost like the voice thing where they did like the delayed sound. One thing I love the sound editing, that delayed sound for the voice and how they distort it. Like when
It
she's
was super
telling
cool.
Paul, when she's like, "Get over here, kneel," and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Don't do
He
that
was
The
to
like,
me
other
in
use
my
your
own
part,
voice
the
on
other
house."
top.
part where they used that was super cool was in the when they got kidnapped or whatever. And now that
Yeah,
scene I fucking loved. That
Yeah.
scene I loved, and I was like, okay, maybe Jessica's not just gonna run around crying. Like she, because that was a really cool scene, and like Paul really like pulled it out, and he was like, he was about it, and then Jessica was super about it. That was a really good scene. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that.
yeah. But one little line, and I'm hoping they get to it, that the Reverend Mother says like early on in the movie when she's talking to Paul, and he's like, when she's like, "Oh, you inherit too much power," which is why they tested him. And he's like, "Why? Because I'm a Duke's son?" And he's like, "No, because you're Jessica's son."
Yeah, I like
And
that part too.
And
Chills.
I'm really hoping they do that reveal in part 2 about why it's important that he's Jessica's son. A little bit. There's a little bit more to it. A little bit. I won't say it.
So
And I feel bad because I'm like dancing on it.
I want to know.
so
I'll tell you
basically
after.
Okay.
so basically the Bene Gesserit wanted Jessica to have a daughter for Duke Leto. But she really loved Duke Leto and he wanted a son, so she gave him a son. But they wanted to marry Duke Leto's daughter to a Harkonnen
Yep.
son. And they
Okay.
thought from that would produce the Kwisatz Haderach.
Yes. Oh, Wendy Nerd, thank you for saying that. The Benny Gesserit are eventually trying to make a boy, but not right now. So
Yeah.
that's their
Right.
whole
I
point.
kind of got that vibe because Jessica says something to Paul that it was like, we've been doing this for generations, but it wasn't supposed to be you or something like that, something to that effect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
selective
so there's
breeding.
So I
selective
got the sense that it
breeding.
was supposed to be like a few generations down the line.
Yeah, like they pretty much like hint like they thought it was here. They think he might be here now. Wink, wink, Paul. Or they have other options. But one thing I love about that scene is when Paul overhears them having this conversation about the one and being the chosen
Mm-hmm.
one, just how it's shot and how they're like him and Jessica are like standing at a distance, but they're both kind of covered in shadow and like in the dark, which I'm like, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of alludes to like this almost like conspiracy type of feel. Like, I don't know, it's like really elusive. I don't know, I liked it.
Oh, another one of my favorite scenes was when what is her name? The leader of the Bene Gesserit.
Reverend Gaius Helena Mohayim. I don't
Her.
know why I said like that.
When she goes to meet with Harkonnen, the Harkonnen guy, and the spiders in there. And they're like, it doesn't speak your language. And she's like, leave us. And it leaves. And she's like, it does. Or some shit she says. I love that part.
Oh, he's like, oh, he doesn't understand. It doesn't understand your language. And she's like, use the voice, like, get out. And it's like, scuttle, 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 scuttle. Like, it just leaves. I love that. She's such a badass. I'm so excited to see more of her.
That's the closest we're ever going to get to ice spiders as big as hounds, guys. So watch.
Unfortunately. So watch Dune, yes. Oh, another scene I wanted to get into because all right, we're just jumping all over the place, which I like. Um, Duke, Leto, and Paul, that scene that they have when they're like kind of overlooking like like their ancestors, if you will, like the graves.
When
They
they're
have all
still on
like the thing.
Kaladin.
Yes, when they're still on Kaladin and they're talking and stuff like that. So in the 1984 like equivalent of that, it's Leto and Paul on a balcony and some really cheesy effects to make it look all stormy outside. I personally like the choice of doing it in that like graveyard
Mm-hmm.
setting because it kind of gives a hint to like legacy or conversation about, you don't have to take the dukedom if you don't want to. You'll still be my son. And you're just like, oh, Leto's a great dad. I love him so much. I hope he lives forever.
Yeah.
Spoiler, no. But one thing I thought was a little funny is how he says, oh, I wanted to be a pilot. And I'm like, is that a little Star Wars joke? Because he plays Poe Dameron, who's a pilot for the Rebel Alliance. So
Right.
confirm.
funny.
Leto used to be Poe Dameron, and he decided to go back and assume his responsibilities like Lion King, and now he's Duke Leto.
Leto is
Confirmed.
fucking fine.
You're welcome.
That's all I know.
That, I'm not gonna lie, his scene where he dies and he's just like
He's just
laying
naked, like,
there.
Okay, when
yes.
they first went into that room and he was just like chilling on that chair, that cracked me up. I was like, yo, what is he doing? But he went out so cool. Like, it was great. It was like, and the doctor guy, what's his name? Yue, that's it.
Sorry.
Dr. Yue. At first I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what? But then he's like, they're like gonna rip my wife to pieces. I was like, okay, I get it.
They already
Like-
did Judas.
Oh, they
Yeah,
already
they
did?
already did. Yeah. They
You
already
didn't see
did.
it?
Oh, I thought he was doing it like to save her. I didn't know that's
No,
what it
he
was.
thought.
Oh,
he thought.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he didn't know.
He should have
Like,
known.
Yeah,
It's
if
the
that-
if
Harkonnen.
your partner was gonna be
Yeah.
like ripped to pieces, like you would do anything to save them.
If the
I can't blame
Harkonnen had
them.
my partner, I'd be like, oh, my partner gone.
Yeah, I'd be like, again, bringing up Game of Thrones, I hate doing this, but like when Sansa's like, oh, Ramsay has Rick gone, he's good as dead. And my thought, I'd have been like, oh, guess I'm you again. All right, well, that's
I
cool.
don't know. I still would have tried anything I could have.
But the thing that makes it like interesting is with him, so he's a doctor, a Suk doctor. So they have like a Hippocratic oath, if you will. So they're not supposed to like, obviously, like cause harm, but especially cause harm towards the people that they serve. So for him, he found his loophole out of that being, well, if I give him this device to kill the Baron, I'm kind of protecting him and then also giving Jessica and Paul those little emergency packs. That's his way of being like, well, I didn't completely harm them. But essentially they were kind of doomed from the get. Like, I feel like even if Yue didn't betray them, the Harkonnens and the Emperor would have found another way in somehow.
Right. And then it would have been worse.
Yes.
But I mean, it was a really cool way with that device and the way that he was supposed to do it. I was really impressed by that. It was cool. I liked that a lot.
Tooth.
And that yeah, with the tooth, he's like, just bite down and exhale. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. But that scene where he does it is kind of like disturbing because like everyone's like dying, and it's like instant. It
Yes.
fills the room instantly. And
But
then
they're Harkonnen, so we don't care.
right, no, but like just watching people like dying
Flop.
and
Just
like,
like,
running
bleh.
for their lives like that was like crazy. And then the cleanup squad comes in, and then there's just like this like ball of like stuck to the ceiling. And I was like, what in the fuck is that? I know what it is now. It was spoiled. I know what it is now. But like
Yes.
that was crazy. And they're just looking
The
at me
way
like,
the way
what?
Piter
Bro.
the way Piter goes down is super funny in that scene because he's like, "Eh." I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's what you get. And honestly, it's more worse because like obviously with a movie you only have but so much time to explain a lot of characters' backstory. So I feel like with in the books you actually get told like House Atreides ahead of time that they have a traitor in their midst by in the scene where Jessica's like, "Oh, I'm looking for a housekeeper," and she's like, "You'll do. Why do you have this knife on you?" And that's shout out Mapes. And in the book and in the 1984 one as well, they kept true to that. She tells them like, "Oh, you guys have a traitor amongst like your ranks."
Don't they intercept a letter? Like, it's been a while since I read it, but don't they intercept a letter and it says like the person who it is, like who it is alone is enough to kill him, and they try to like throw suspicion on Jessica being the one that will betray him.
I forget about the letter part because it's been like about almost 2 years since I've read the book as well, to be honest, because I read it. Yeah, it was, I want to say either 2019 or very, very early 2020, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty
it's been a
positive it was
while.
2019 because I read it thinking Dune was coming out last year, but I digress. Anyways, with yeah, so in the book you get all this kind of like plotting that Yue is trying to make it seem that Jessica is the one responsible. And the one who mostly believes that, or the person he's really trying to throw on Jessica's scent, is Thufir Hawat. So Thufir Hawat is the Mentag. He's the one that's the he's the one with the black lip and he has the parasol. That guy, and then he does that thing where he like rolls
I
his eye
remember
back.
the Queen Amidala lip.
No.
Yeah. So one thing I feel like they should have did a little bit more is explain what mentats are in the movie. Again, it's
They didn't even
hard 'cause
mention
this-
it, I don't think.
No, they don't. They just let him do like calculations in his head. Like I felt bad because like my friend that I went with, who also like you, Nim, has no background information, just went in there fresh eyes. She's like, "What was up with that guy?" And I was like, "Oh, so he's like a superhuman computer."
Yeah, he confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, they didn't mention anything about mentats, which is weird because it's gonna be kind of important in part 2 a little bit more, but
Probably get a big info
maybe
dump
they'll.
at the beginning of part 2.
Oh yeah, that's coming.
I got a question for Mandy, because I feel like this is one of the things that is appealing to me for Dune.
Mhm.
Did you like the fact that it's a sci-fi with no computers and shit?
I did. I liked that there was technology, but there was not like too much technology.
Yeah, not like
It's different kinds.
all
Like it
those
was
screens with like, what is that, like the common sci-fi aesthetic is like black screens, red touch screen dots on it. It's
Yep.
I hate it. So yeah.
yeah, and like there was just enough technology to be like, you know, like the harvesters and then those big things that come and like carry the harvesters. And I loved, oh my god, I loved the little dragonfly ships. Those were so fucking cool.
Oh,
They were
the
adorable.
ornithopters.
I was like, wait, it's a dragonfly. Oh my god. I was so excited about that fucking dragonfly. And then, you know, obviously like their shields, but like aside from like the guns that shot the darts, like there wasn't even a lot of like weaponry. Like everyone like had swords and like staffs and stuff, and I liked that too.
Yeah. So the reason for that, it all has to do with, and I'm not going to go into a whole explanation of this. I'm going to do the same thing we did earlier, defer to Quinn.
Yeah.
But it has to do with the Butlerian Jihad, and you're probably like, well, what the fuck are you
I'm
talking
sorry,
about?
what did you just say?
Say
that a
The
little slower.
Butlerian
Butlerian.
Jihad. So
Sorry.
essentially, long ago in a Earth here, essentially our dumbasses invent super like smart AI and computers that essentially enslave us, but they're controlled by other people, but it doesn't really matter. AI takes over, the humans eventually rise up, revolt, and then they decide, yeah, no more of that shit going forward. So they essentially train people to have different capacities and capabilities to replace those computers. So like the mentats, for example, they have like supercomputing capabilities. So when they ask Thufir, like, oh, how much did it cost him? And he's like, oh, just a quick. That's what they do. And then you have like the navigators, and the navigators are kind of like these like, almost like mutated wormy looking things. They didn't show them in the movie, but they like sit in like this big old tank of like spice, so they're able to like navigate hyperspace. They do show like representatives. Actually, I want to bring it back to the Herald scene where they show the representatives of the guild, and they have like those masks, and you can just see like spice just flowing through the mask, and like they're wearing the all white, and they have like the gold staff. I just thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Another part that I really liked about I liked where it ended with Shawnee, like, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Because I felt like, I know people were confused, like, is there going to be a part 2? Is there going to be a part 1? Like, is there going to be another part to this? Because this says, but it's like confirmed, because in the beginning it says Dune part 1, and then Shawnee at the end's like, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
I like that as well. Oh, I see. Oh, we have another super chat. Hi, John. I'm late. Start over. We're kind of like jumping a little bit all over the place, John. So feel free to join in, because we're probably gonna cover something again, because that's how we roll. You know how we roll.
Actually,
but thank you for the super chat.
I have a question for you guys about the worms.
Yes.
So in the first time that we see them, when they go out to the harvester, and like that huge worm is coming, and the thing on the carrier thing snaps, the anchor, and they have to like get people into the little dragon, or not the dragonflies, but like the things that they were traveling in. Yeah.
You just call it copter or dragonfly, whatever floats your boat.
The thing, the buzzy thing. So they have, what are they called? Thumpers. That's like the thing that's like the rhythmic thumping
vibration.
Right. And that like leads the worms where they want them to go, right? Like away from whatever, because that's what they do when Paul and Jessica are in the sand, right? Yes. Before the Fremen find Paul and Jessica, right?
Yep.
And then again, the Fremen doctor, right when the assassins are on her, she starts pounding, and the worm comes. Are they like, I don't know if this is a spoiler, because I don't know what the hell is going on, but maybe it's like things other people are wondering. Do the Fremen like utilize the worms in a certain way, or are they?
Yes. So you see at the one of the last shots, you actually could see a Fremen riding.
Right.
One of the
riding one of these freaking worms.
So that's what Kynes, right before Kynes dies, that's what she was looking to do. That's why she had like the two things in her hand, like the hooks almost. So yeah, they
that's what that was.
Yes. And actually, let's talk about that harvester rescue scene, because I feel like we haven't touched on it yet. One of my favorite scenes.
It was really good.
Just the look of it. But one thing I really loved is when they're like, oh, the harvester, we can't get it out, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, well, that's like a day's worth of harvesting, the spice, this and that. And Leto's like, damn the spice. We need to get our men. And the way Kynes looks at him like, you care. And I feel like had Leto not kind of planted that scene earlier on, I feel like Kynes would have been more hesitant on helping Jessica and Paul later on.
Mm-hmm.
And then Paul gets his also like first experience with like the spice too, where he's just like sitting there having like his little like vision acid spice trip. And then Gurney's like, if you don't get up, get out of here.
I love Gurney. I saw that scene that they had cut out with Gurney playing his guitar.
Oh, the balisette. That makes me so
sad about that too. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, that would have been cool. Because Gurney, he's so like tough. And my nickname for him is the janitor, because I thought he looked like the janitor from Scrubs at first.
He does. Oh my God.
And then I was like, bitch, that's Josh Brolin. What the fuck are you doing?
It's Thanos.
Yeah,
Thanos the janitor.
But anyway, I call him the janitor. Because he's like so tough. And I feel like that would have been like a more like humanizing moment for him. And I mean, he has moments like that anyways, so like I get it, where he's not just like grr. And I don't know, he was a good character, and I feel like he's like a lot more complex than the movie was able to show us.
Yes. So I think with the movie, and I've seen like a lot of complaints on this as well, when it comes to like certain characters not getting a lot of screen time, but the good old, rule of thumb: if you don't see a body, then they didn't die. So with that being said, we
I
don't
have
see what
that
happens.
idea about 2 people that died. I don't know if
Ooh.
it's right or not.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. All right, let me just wrap this little quick point. So with Gurney and Thufir, where we don't see them die, that's because they
Mhm.
play a bigger part in part 2. So in
Okay.
my opinion, I feel like they made like the other characters that like Leto, Kynes, Duncan, they kind of gave them more like expanded roles because obviously we lose them so quickly. So I think so it has more of that emotional like gravitas when they do go.
Mhm.
That's my like because again, you can only fit so much, and it's actually not that long of a movie that you
No,
would think it'd be.
no.
Yeah,
They packed a lot into it though, because there was a lot of like you said, like exposition, just info dumping, and
yeah,
just I mean, when the world has been built up that much, like they have to, because you can't just like expect everyone to know what the hell's going on. Clearly, because I had no idea what was going on. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I feel like if I had read the books, I would have been like more, you know, I just would have known more what was happening.
Do you want to read them now?
Yeah, I do, because I want to
sure.
understand things I don't understand.
Ooh,
I
before
don't.
you read those, I just want to give a quick shout out. Thank you, Count Balerian of House Tatters, for the super chat. Ooh, goodness, don't poop. Here. But anyways, I kind of forgot 3/4 of this. Well, I'm glad we were able to help. Sorry, I'm so tongue tied. It's been a long day, guys. We had a nor'easter up here today. It's been mayhem, but thank
The
you.
weather has been weathering.
The weather has been weathering, and I don't know who controls the weather machine, but they need to get it under control.
For real.
Yeah. But what were you gonna say?
No, I was asking Mandy if she wanted to read the books now.
I do, yeah. I have some other things that I'm supposed to be reading, and like I said, the Silmarillion's going to take me till I'm going gray.
Girl,
But
bless you.
I still have to read The Witcher,
Fighting a good fight.
and I can't do Wheel of Time. I can't commit my life to what is it, 15 books.
I started reading the Eye of the World, but gosh, it's so many books.
It is.
I'm
It's a big
trying.
commitment. It's a
Yeah.
big commitment.
Actually, you reminded me when you said the thing about like the a bunch of exposition. So the 1984 one literally has 5 to 10 minutes of exposition at the beginning of the movie.
And all we have is this little thing from Shawnee.
Yeah.
Bryce. Bryce has said, "Great, the kind of white lady I like." Perfect answer, Mandy. What did I say?
I love him.
What did I
I love
say?
Grace.
I mean, I try to be the positive kind of white lady, but
Yeah,
I,
that's what
I
we
don't
try to
remember
do,
what I
right?
was saying at that particular moment.
Oh,
So yeah.
costume. Jessica's costume when they got on Arrakis, I loved it.
Yes. Oh my, that literally is in one of my notes. It's honestly probably my second favorite scene is the arrival on Arrakis.
Yeah.
Just like the way the light hits her and like shines off the yellows and like just like everybody's like face, and then you get like Leto looking back at Paul, and like you could feel the doom and gloom getting ready to
Yeah.
happen. I feel like this movie has a very like Empire Strike Back type of feel to it, where it ends with like it seems like the bad guys are on top and there's like this little glimmer of hope.
Some of those desert scenes reminded me of Max Fury Road. It did.
For
It
Mad
did.
Max.
Yes.
Oh, what were
I
you
have
gonna
a
say, ma'am?
question.
Yes.
I have a question. Okay, so when Jared Duke Leto was, I keep calling him Jared Leto. When Duke Leto was after they did the whole harvester scene, and he came back and he's like, these motherfuckers knew this shit was like dying and like everything was dilapidated, and like that's why they struck the deal. Like, was that actually the reason, or were they just trying to find a way to get them there to go to war?
The Emperor just wanted to should we
Set them up.
say? Should we say?
Well,
Is it
they
spoilers?
no, they say it because pretty much they say it a couple times, but
They don't like he wants to get rid of House Atreides, wipe it
Right.
off the map.
because he's jealous because
So the
they
whole
have
oh sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, so essentially the emperor is like super jealous of House Atreides because one, the duke's super popular. On top of that, their like forces, like their army is very well trained, and they rival that of the Sardaukar. And he is a hater and he can't have that. But the Atreides and Harkonnens have had like problems with each other, so he essentially uses them to exploit that issue.
Mm-hmm. So it was a
But
little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, but mostly just to try and kill them all.
It was some Lannister Stark type shit.
yeah,
Got it.
just imagine him being like a big old hater.
And
No, it was some
visually,
Walder Frey. It was some Walder Frey Stark
That-
type
yeah.
shit.
visually, one of the
hater.
things I loved from that was it sounds horrible, but like the actual like bombing
Oh yeah.
and that last shot when the shots are just like cascading down, like it. Okay, and I realized they're destroying and murdering a bunch of people, but it was so pretty. Like the
Visually,
way it was
was.
incredible visually. Like it was like a almost like a firework, you know, like the kind that like rain down after it pops.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
so pretty. Like everything like cinematically was really, really well done.
It was. It was. like-
Honestly, hands down, probably one of the most beautiful films I have ever seen, ever. But again, it's to be expected of Denis. That's his thing, and I'm glad they chose him to go with this project. Just the way he's able to show like how like the scale of things, like when they are in space, and you see them go through kind of like the little tube. I'm assuming
that
that's
was super cool.
and then you see like the little
was like a donut.
ships.
The ship, the
Yeah.
mothership was like a donut. The mothership. I sound like a fucking
Bryce's
Roswell addict. But it was
Bryce-
like a donut, and it just like flew through it, and I was like, "All right, it's like the hanger like above, and it like comes down and then out, like because that would be awesome." What happened?
Bryce's
sorry.
comment, Mandy, that if you don't know something, that you're willing to learn it, and no raisins in the potato salad. Mandy
Never
does
put
not
raisins
put
in the potato
raisins in the potato
Swear to
salad.
God. My people, my fellow melanin deficient people, please, for the love of God, stop with the raisins
And the grapes.
and just random fucking fruit and shit it does not belong in. You can stop. That's not seasoning, baby. That's not seasoning.
I'm
So
screaming.
you tell him, Mandy. Fucking tell him.
We're exhausting as a race. I understand that. I apologize.
Oh, that
You actually just remind. Oh, wait, were you going to say? I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I lost it.
No, you just reminded me. Speaking of that, one thing I like that this movie did a lot better than other adaptations. They made the Fremen look like they actually live in a desert.
Right?
The
It
Fremen-
actually looked like accurate.
Yeah.
I
They
love
look
that.
like people that live in a very hot sun.
Because you know
climate.
damn well every one of us would have had a fucking sunburn if they had put some white folks out there.
The still suits too. I really love
They,
the
they would have looked like them
I
damn
love it.
raisins they love to put in their potato salad.
They would have.
But yeah, still suits.
They'd
are
have looked like
so
Dorothy
good.
Eady.
They
Oh,
would
God.
have little Easter egg for the future for you guys.
Easter
But
egg
with
for Pat.
yeah, no, the still suits are so good. I love the like design of it. I also like how they kept them like whenever you would see them in groupings, they're kind of really low to the ground. Like they crouch a lot.
Mhm.
Like I love the shot where it's like Duncan, Idaho, and a couple Fremen, and he's just like crouched there, and he has like that thing with his eyes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I liked
He's trying to be cool.
that and the scene where Paul is up on the top of the hill or the cliff, and what is you okay? What is Zendaya's character's name?
Shawnee.
Chani.
Okay, so she's like beckoning him to the edge of the cliff, and they look down, and like the like battles like clashing beneath them, and then all those guys pop up out of the sand behind him and flank him from the rear. Oh my god, that was so fucking cool. I was like,
Yes.
there was a lot of scenes where like I didn't know what was coming, and I was so hype about it. That was so cool. I mean, I loved whenever they popped up out of the sand, but that was amazing.
The Duncan, Idaho fight scene where they
Mhm.
thought he was dead. And he's just like
That
He had that sword through him, and he's like, surprise. That was
So
great.
fun
dead,
fact,
Miriam.
That's actually my favorite scene in the whole movie is his last stand.
Mhm.
Me personally, I love a good hallway fight scene like Vader and Rogue One. Like, give me all that. All that.
Yeah.
It was
Love
really
it.
good.
And he went down like, oh my gosh. But what got me is when he's like, oh, if you cross swords with a Sardaukar, you would know, and then proceeds to beat them up like it's nothing. So
Yeah.
like,
And then he said like when he fought the Fremen, he fought one of the Fremen like to get into the siege to
yeah.
talk to the guy. And he was like, "It's the closest I've ever come to dying." And I'm like, "Oh, this guy has lots of brushes with death every day. That's every
Yes.
day, Pete."
Oh, that goes to show you what Leto was saying. Like Leto's biggest thing was like, we need to cultivate desert power.
Yeah.
And oh boy, do they. But we actually, oh, thank you, Liana Dawn, for the super chat. Would you consider making a video about how certain characters, plot, and themes in Dune books parallel A Song of Ice and Fire, i.e., Paul and Danny? Ooh, I'll write that down as a fun little project. That would have to happen sometime after Saturday.
Oh, and a good
I
parallel
love
be
that idea.
Leto the second and Bran.
Ooh, see, when you said Leto, I was thinking Duke Leto with Ned Stark because
Mm,
they have a lot of parallels.
yeah.
Leto the second?
Mhm.
Oh,
Is
that's a
that
spoiler.
Paul's? Is that Paul's kid?
We don't
Maybe,
know.
maybe I
Oh,
don't know.
well,
Who's
I don't
Leto?
know. I don't know anything.
Who's
That's why I'm
Leto? This?
asking.
Who's Leto the second? I'm just kidding.
I don't know
No,
anything. That's
it's
why I
Paul. It's
asked.
Paul's kid.
So
It is
is Duncan like dead?
Kinda.
kind of,
Okay.
He be back.
Okay, cool.
sort
Just
of,
hoping
in a
so.
weird way.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
He's just like
Hopefully,
mist energy. Or is he more
it's
like the mountain?
um,
kind of like the mountain ish. Ish.
maybe like Lady Stoneheart. No, not like Lady Stoneheart.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's a different thing. He won't remember a lot.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's a little complicated. But actually, since we're kind of like speaking of future events,
Right.
what are
Sorry.
you looking? I
I'm
mean,
asking too
Mandy,
many
I feel
questions.
so bad. I feel so bad because you're like you're gonna be like, what? What are you looking forward to for a part two? I'd say.
More shiny, more shiny, shiny,
Actually,
shiny.
Mandy, I'd like your fresh opinion on what would you like to see in the next, installment.
Okay, so I want to see more of the Beniguaguas, whatever they're called.
Ben
The
and
witch peoples.
Gesserit.
Benny Quack Quack.
Benny
That sounds like
The
a song from Gullah Gullah Island.
Oh
I
my
know
god.
I keep thinking of the dog food, the Beneful, and that I know it's not that, so I just change it up every time.
Oh my
The,
gosh.
the witch people.
Yes.
I want to see more of them. I want to know what the Fremen are gonna do now that Paul is there. I want to know what his role is going to play in that. And there was one other thing while I was watching it, and I was like, I need to know more about this, and then they never did it, and I was like, fuck. But now I can't remember. But there was one other thing, and if I remember, I'll tell you. But yeah, the
Yeah.
witches mostly, because it seems to be like it's going to be really like important going forward. That's why Jessica brought the Oracle lady there. Sorry, Reverend Mother, I call her the Oracle. The Benjiwawa. Thank you, Jackie. I couldn't remember. Um, but I know that something with those witch people is going to be very important, and I'm excited to see where that goes.
There's a little witch person that's going to be very important, who I'm super excited to see how they handle. So, some noticeable absences from part one. One of them I'm going to leave out because technically they were in it in a dream sequence. But I think the biggest one, well, two biggest ones that people probably have noticed, the Emperor that they mentioned multiple times throughout the movie, and a character that they haven't mentioned yet, and it makes me very, very slightly nervous, but where they've been so like remaining close to the source material, I feel like we're still gonna see him in part two because we kind of have to, and that's Fade. So I know you have no idea who I'm talking about on Fade. So Fade is a Harkonnen. So he is related to Dave Bautista's character, who I just realized we haven't talked about. Yeah, he was good. I liked him. He was super creepy. And I hope he changes his mind and does come back as Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But anyways, and
I thought twice. I was
yeah.
like, is that Dave Bautista? But he looks so fucking weird. That I thought it was
Yes.
him, but then when I saw him from a profile, I was like, no, that has to be him.
Oh my gosh. Swagger
And someone
Dagger. I didn't even think about this. Idris Elba for the Emperor.
Oh, that would be really good.
I would love that. Oh, I didn't mention Irulan because I don't really care about Irulan.
We know they gotta include Princess Irulan. We know she's coming.
Well, yeah, she's got to be there, but like,
Bryce said the big ass frog. Was there supposed to be a giant frog?
I'm wondering if he's talking about the weird spider milk thing that was just there. I don't know what that thing was. That thing was creepy. I didn't like it.
The spider that scuttled away.
Yeah, when she told it to
someone
get out.
Someone said that wasn't in the book.
No, it's not.
But then someone else said that was. There's like a fan theory that was the doctor's wife.
Yeah.
Like he turned her into a spider. I mean, it's a
I've
theory
been seeing
for the
that.
movie.
I've been seeing that it could be Yue's wife.
That's his name.
I just hope it's not, because that's awful.
Gross. Yeah, that would be sad and gross. I don't like that.
To be turned into a milk spider that wears a little head to toe latex, like it sounds really uncomfortable.
No, not a fan.
Not a fan. Mm-mm. But with that being said, actually, since he brought it up about Idris Elba possibly playing the Emperor, Gray, do you have any thoughts on who you would like to play the Emperor if you could choose?
Charles Dance, Tywin Lannister of House Lannister.
Honestly, when we talked about it earlier and you said that, I was like, yes, that's the only person I could see. Yes. Until he said Idris Elba, and I'm like, okay, well, hold on. I can think. Another person that I saw somebody like a fan casting earlier that thought was interesting was the actor that plays Roose Bolton as the Emperor. And I'm like, well, I already don't like Roose Bolton and I don't like the Emperor, so this works for me if you want to just stay in that lane.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do like the Charles Dance idea. I think he'd be amazing.
I could see him. He's so menacing.
He is.
He can really pull that off.
And he can pull off the Petty Betty.
Yeah.
Too. Like, they need to go. Why? I don't like that their soldiers fight as good as my soldiers, so. And he's popular, so I don't like him. That's essentially the Emperor, guys. If you're not familiar, Nim, since you're not, that's his whole vibe. He's a hater. He's a big Petty Betty hater. But I just want to get this out there publicly because I've been saying it on Twitter. I want Cameron Monaghan to play Fade Rotha. If you have not seen his performance in Gotham as Jeremiah / Jerome, you're missing out. Find a highlight reel on YouTube so you can get my point, and you'll be right there with me. So we want Cameron Monaghan for Fade Rotha. You guys spam WB. Let them know that I want that. Say I said that. So
tell him Arah says.
So say Arah says that you guys need to cast him as Fade.
Arah says so it's canon.
Yes, because in the 1984 one, they have Sting. Sting's the guy who plays Fade. And I feel like they had him in that movie a lot because it's Sting, and it was in the year 84, and you know. You got Sting, you might as well throw him everywhere. What was
I said, were the police his henchmen?
That would be great.
They go anywhere without the police.
Honestly, now I'm going to go back and look for them because I don't know if they are, but I feel like they could have thrown them in there just because.
You know, there's some kids in this chat that are like, who the fuck is Sting and the police?
Like, what are you old women talking about? But yeah, no, guys. Oh man, hopefully that'd be a nice little Easter egg. But we're gonna get ready to wind down.
Be tired, be tired.
Yeah, it's been a long day, everybody. But I would say overall, what was your favorite, I guess, scene of the movie? I already said mine. Mine was Duncan's last stand, but I can also pick another one.
My favorite scene. It's so hard to pick because there are just like some shots that were really my favorite. Like I loved all the desert shots. But far as scene, I think it was Paul and the Reverend Mother.
The Gamjaba.
The Gamjaba and like with Jessica standing outside the door and nobody's gonna get
Crying.
past your mother.
Oh,
And
oh, the fear is the mind
Fear is the
killer.
Mind Killer, yeah. Yeah, that was
Um,
my favorite.
Mine has got to be when Paul finally like successfully uses his creepy voice, and he has the guards the guard kill the other guard, the assassins, and then Jessica jumps up and stabs that guy through the face. That was great. I really enjoyed
I
that.
do love that.
I liked
Yeah, she's so
Paul like
badass.
coming into his minute and like being who he's supposed to be like successfully, and then like Jessica wanting to be proud of him, but then like I need to like protect us, and then plane shuts down. Like it was a really, really good scene. It was really tense, but it was, while it was so tense, it was like such a good moment. I really, really liked the execution of that scene.
I enjoyed it as well. But yeah, I know I've said it again. I was like, Duncan in the scene, his last stand. But what I like about that scene too is like such a small, subtle detail. When Paul has his dream sequence, when he's like, "Oh, I saw you in Iraq with the Fremen," he's like, "Oh, that's a good sign." He's like, "Yeah, but then you were laying dead
Yeah,
in
and then
like
you
the field of
died.
battle." They kind of zoom in on this little beetle crawling near the dead bodies,
Yeah, it was
and
gross.
right before Duncan dies, he's playing with that same little beetle,
Mm-hmm.
which makes me super sad. And I was like, "What a small little detail you added there to make me really, really upset that you killed off my favorite." Thanks, even though I should have saw it coming, but thanks, you know.
That scene where Duke Leto's like, "Would you protect Paul? Will you protect our son?" And she's like, "With my life." I
Oh yeah.
fucking love Jessica.
And then he's
Yes.
like, "No, not you, your people." And she's like, "Oh,
I'll
I can't
try
speak
my
for them."
best. But I've been a fan of Rebecca Ferguson since, I'm not sure if you guys watched The White Queen on Stars, but I loved her in that. That was my jam.
I
She
was
plays a very
trying to
similar
figure where I saw
character.
her from. I was like, I know this lady. I know her. And then you just put it together.
And it's funny because in the show and in the book, they also make it seem like they have kind of like this witch power almost.
Mm-hmm.
So like the way they portray Elizabeth Woodville in those books and show is very kind of similar to Lady Jessica.
Yeah.
If she was like souped up with like more abilities.
Don't they like do like a whole spell and like throw the thing in the
Yeah.
river? Yeah.
Yep. Oh, got another super cat. Thank you again, Josh. You're the best. Great stream. Congrats on the wedding, Arah. Hope everyone has a great rest of the week. Peace, love, and positive vibes everyone's way. Thank you
Josh, we
again.
just love you.
Yes,
Yes,
Josh, you're
triple
the
OG
best.
Josh. Yes, and we will be on Gray Areas channel Sunday for our usual Direwolf City,
On
where
Valeria.
Valeria.
it's
and the
Halloween,
Doom.
so we're talking the Doom. Also, don't forget, you guys can check out our new podcast, Preposterous AF. Episode 2 is out now, and new episodes drop every Monday. And they're available on all streaming platforms for your listening pleasure. So, you know, if you're into like true crime, unexplained, really, really weird, preposterous stories,
Super weird.
this episode's really weird. And again,
Super weird.
pre-apologize.
This
Yes.
episode that got released 2 days ago on Monday, it's Arah's fault, just so we all know whose
Sorry.
fault it was that this episode happened. It was super creepy. And if you like that kind of stuff,
Nightmare fuel.
if you like
yeah.
that kind of stuff, you're going to love this episode because it was fantastic.
Yes, and we have so much more in store for you guys because from the stuff we've recorded already, oh, you guys are in for a treat. But that is it for tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on all the social medias and interwebs. And yeah, we're going to head out for tonight. Thank you. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Good night.